Turpel, the 10th stop of the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour. The sleepy little fishing village of Peniche is extra sleepy this morning. Small little waves, it's almost flat on deck, but as promised, we found Matt Wilkinson coming on the desk, current number 17 in the world, 6 years on tour. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Matty, the last couple of days, can you tell us what you've been up to? The contest has been off. Have you been getting some fun surfs?
Yeah, there's been actual kind of little north swell, which has been really fun on the backup beaches, and the banks are kind of fun, but hasn't been pumping. But definitely getting my feet in the wax and getting ready for when this swell hits here.
Kind of thinking about getting your feet in the wax. You sure did that up in France just recently. You had some key heats. You had that superstar battle with some of your good friends, Medina, Owen Wright. You ended up going down to John in round 5, but you had the single high wave score. That had to feel pretty good for you.
Yeah, it was a pretty good event for me. I had a few really nice heats, and even the heats that I lost, one of them I lost to Gabe, who was doing some of the craziest airs I've ever seen. It was me, him, and Owen, and I don't know. That was a wild heat. Me and Owen were sitting out the back, and we saw Gabe launch off. I think he hit the section at the exact time the backwash did, and did one of the craziest puns. And we were sitting out the back, and we're like, there's not much you can do about that. But yeah, I had some good heats and put some good scores on the board, and I feel like I've been a lot more consistent kind of lately, and hopefully I can just keep that going and try to get some barrels and put 2 big scores on the board each heat here.
What makes Europe so special? I mean, we talk to a lot of guys and they love coming to Europe, not just France but Portugal as well. What for you makes it special?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of got a similar vibe to Oz. It's a little more laid back than America, and the waves here are awesome, and the food's awesome, and I think just there's so many different spots to kind of check and so much to do, and then the history over here is incredible. I had a little holiday before France and went to Italy and stuff, and just I don't know, everything's like 1,000 years old, and in Australia the oldest house is like 30 years old, and you're like, oh, this thing's going to fall down soon. But yeah.
Classic. Well, Willie, when we think about your contest results, we go back to the runner-up finish at the Coldwater. Last year you impressed us all at the semifinal at J-Bay, but thinking about your consistency this year, we just have to go back to Barra da Tijuca, that semifinal that you made in Rio de Janeiro. Your form was amazing. The waves were challenging and shifty. What was your secret at that venue?
Yeah, in the earlier heats the swell was kind of big there, and it was super tough. Everyone was kind of getting one wave and then couldn't find a backup, and me and Micro kind of found a little right down the beach that probably wasn't the best waves, but it was the most consistent, and so I just put a few heats together out there and took out a few heats, and then later in the contest I just kind of found my feet, and I felt really solid on my board, and yeah, I don't know, it felt really good, and I think as the contest goes on I get more and more confident, and once I start making heats I usually kind of keep going, but so hopefully I don't get stopped too early.
You talk about that confidence. I mean, you can see it, not just on heat by heat, but wave by wave. You get that bottom turn, top turn combo going. That confidence builds. How hard was it to do that in front of all those people? There was a few crew on the beach, weren't there?
Yeah, I think if you were surfing against a Brazilian, it might have been a little bit harder. But I was surfing against Aussies in most of my heats, so I was pretty much just focusing on looking at the bottom of the wave and then the top and the bottom and the top until it was finished, and then I'd kind of hear the crowd go and be like, yes, I've done something good.
Yeah. Well, Matt, we look back at the last handful of seasons. You've kind of been finishing in the early 20s on tour, kind of right at the cutoff, where now you're 17th, a little bit safer. And you just mentioned that relationship you have with Glenn Micro Hall. You're a member of the Micro Surf Academy. Talk about your relationship when you first met Glenn, how long you've known him, and now what this coaching role is like for you.
Yeah, I've known Glenn since I was probably like 10 years old. He would have been 16 or something, 17, and him and Ace were doing the junior series, and I just started doing like under 12 little grommet comps and stuff, and so I'd looked up to him and Ace my whole life, and they were doing good in juniors, and then I was doing good in the Grom comps, and then they were doing the QS, and I was doing the juniors, and we kind of all moved up, and then it's super cool to all be on the CT together. And at the start of this year, Glenn's always been amazing, like at choosing waves and kind of reading lineups, and I guess beating surfers that he thinks surf better than him by surfing smart heats. And so we kind of teamed up to try and I've always been pretty relaxed about my approach with with that kind of stuff, so we've kind of teamed up to try and get the best of both worlds, and I feel like it's working for sure. We've had a few big results, and even the contests that I haven't had results of, I feel like I've put pretty good heats in nearly every heat, and then if you lose and surf a good heat, it feels a lot better than completely blowing it. So it's been working for sure, and I don't know, see how it goes here.
Well, one thing Potts and I were discussing on the desk this morning, we're seeing this new focus, but it wasn't too far away when you're known as this great entertainer coming down the beach. One of our favorites was when you introduced a brand new wetsuit idea at so many different venues around the world. You had the tie-dye up in San Francisco, but when you showed up with the sardines, you almost became a member of Mayor Antonio's family. He was so excited.
The mayor is probably one of the most passionate surf fans I've ever seen, and coming down the beach with sardines, he was like the happiest person I've ever seen. He just grabbed me by the face and was like, "Yeah, Matt, you're a good boy." It's been a really cool relationship with him. Ever since then, I've been coming down, and he's so psyched. It's awesome.
That's my favourite, by the way. Obelix.
Yeah, that was actually like a photo of a real guy's chest that works for Rippy in France. It was pretty gross.
How good is it to have a company like Rip Curl back here and be able to do that kind of fun stuff?
Yeah, it's amazing. Those wetsuits were so much fun, and I don't know, I got so much, especially in Europe, the support over here, I think a lot because of them has been pretty crazy. They're so psyched, and it's so cool to have people that'll support you when you want to do something weird, and what I think was super fun.
That was really fun. Can we bring it back? Are you allowed to?
I want to.
Let's do this.
I don't know.
Let's
get some new
bring it
ideas
back.
going.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we've got more to come on this Dawn Patrol show. Wilco, you mind hanging out?
No worries.
One more segment to come with Matt Wilkinson. We'll be right back here at the Mosh Rip Girl Pro Peniche for Dawn Patrol right after this.